conditions apply.
We start off with Christopher Okello, who has been convicted and sentenced to death for the killing of 4 toddlers at the Gaba Early Childhood Development Center in Kampala. The High Court in Kampala rejected his defense of insanity and found him fully responsible for the crimes. Justice Alice Komuhanji Kauka, who presided over the case, underscored the seriousness of the offense and its profound impact on the community while delivering the sentence. Take a look.
Whose identities he refused to disclose, and any other person in this country who believes in sacrificing blood for wealth.
Era ekibonerezo kino tekiweebwa onasingisiddwa omusango yekka, wabula kiweebwa n'abo mikwano gye yagaana okwatula eri kkooti oba n'abantu bonna abalala n'abali eyo mu ggwanga lyaffe abalowooza nti okusaddaaka osobola okufuna obugagga.
Let them know that it is highly risky because they will be found like Mr. Okello was found, and they will not escape the long arm of the law.
Bateekeddwa okukimanya nti ekikolwa ekyo kiba kya bwerinde nnyo ng'era bajja kuba bakwatibwa omukono gw'amateeka ogw'amaanyi.
In light of the above, I have found no reason why I should not sentence Mr. Okello with the maximum sentence.
N'olw'ensonga ezo waggulu sirina kyenzudde kiŋŋaana kuwa Okello ekibonerezo ekisingayo obunene.
I hereby sentence him to suffer death for the murder of Eteku Gideon in count 1, Keisha Agenroth Otim in count 2, Seriange Ignatius in count 3, and Odekereyan in count 4 in a manner authorized by law.
Ensonga eyo nsindika Okello Christopher Onyu ku kibonerezo ekyakalabba olw'okutta abaana bano. Omusango ogusooka Oteku, owokubiri Keisha, omusango okusatu Seriange Ignatius ne Odeke mu ngeri eragirwa mu mateeka.
And Mr. Okello, you have a right of appeal. You have a right of appeal against the conviction of this court, both the conviction and the sentence. This you should do within 14 days from today. You have a right to appeal to the Court of Appeal.
Oyina eddembe okujulira musango guno ku nsala oba n'ekibonerezo ekikuweereddwa mu nnaku 14 okuva olwaleero mu kooti ejulirwamu.
And that is the order of the court.
Ekyo ekiragiro kya kooti.
Abantu bolabaawo mu maaso be bazadde b'abaana nga amasanyu gaba essanyu libatta oluvannyuma lw'okufuna amawulire. Katogereko n'omukyalo ono mugamba ki?
Bananga omulamuzi yeebale nnyo omukazi wa mazima, akoze mazima, asaze mazima. Okello naye kagenda afe nga bwe yatta abaana baffe. Naye kagenda afe. Ate omulamuzi yeebale kusala mazima, omukazi wa mazima nnyo oyo. Yeebale nnyo yeebalire ddala.
Amaanyi ate ngamba nze twebaza omulamuzi kyatugambye n'ensalawo ye lwakuba ffe ng'abantu tetutegedde bagenda muttirawa era bajja mutta ku lunaku ki. Naye olw'embeera nti kkooti emuwadde ensalawo ye tuli wiringa okusigala nga tujja okumanya bagenda muttirawa era bamutta ku lunaku ki. Atugambye alina omukisa okujulira mu kkooti esingawo mu nnaku 14. Naye naffe abantu tatubuulidde lunaku ki lwattibwa, naye twebaza nti okusalawo kwe kuzze eri ffe era tuli basanyufu nnyo.
Ate Okello atulazeeko nti alina omutima kuba mugambye weetondere ku bantu ayogedde kimu nti ye talina kyakwogera. Kitegeeza alina omutima omubi era asaana kalabba. Tulindiridde olunaku olwo era tuli basiimu nnyo. Omulabi waffe owa Star TV ne UBC kati kutwaleko eri abazadde abamu abayina abaana abaafiira mu kitundu kino.
Twakosebwa olw'okutta abaana baffe, twali twagala nnyo abaana baffe. Naye omuntu asalawo n'alumba abaana abato n'abasala ng'embuzi nga naawe okimanyi tosobola okuba n'omwana naye n'olaba omwana akutusako obulago n'osigala ng'osala n'osala abaana bana ate gweyagala obeere mulamu ng'oli mukulya abaana baffe nga twabaziika baafa.
Paka nakati tulowooza omwana waffe lwe tumulaba nga tali waka kuba yava waka bulungi nnyo ng'abeera naffe bulungi ne kati bwe tulaba nga taliiwo kiyo twongera nnyiike.
Sala y'omusango egenze bulungi buli muntu kyabadde asuubira tufunye obwenkanya. Okello yendoza actually njagamba mu area yaffe tube tutulira nko muntu amusalidde kalabba. This was my first time. It was a shock, you know. Badde banyiza awulidde bubi then paka fire ngeze okuya buli muntu asanyuka ne mbuzaako ba neighbor wange bagambye kalabba ne bagamba yes kalabba. Naye ate katusuubye endowooza kigenda kukola this time round manyi naye wano judicial system yenge gye tulimbamu ate 14 days for okukola appeal kuba kisoboka neera agasobola okukola appeal nalaga nti awangudde ate nga balina genda mu Supreme Court atudde okuddamu okumuwangula katusuubye kigenda kukola this time round.
Well, according to everyone, the justice has been served, and thank you so much, Nama Monde, for reporting continuously about the case until today, when it was determined that he was sent to death. Now, in more stories, President Sharon Museveni has proposed a tax exemption on wage payments for scientists to motivate them for more innovations. Museveni pledges a 600 billion Ugandan shilling support towards transforming Uganda's agricultural research capacity into a full-scale research and innovation city. This announcement was made during the commissioning of a state-of-the-art anti-tick vaccine manufacturing plant by the National Agricultural Research Organization, commonly known as NARO. Take a look as it's being reported.
No sooner had the president arrived at the National Livestock Resources Research Institute than he was treated to a guided tour of the facility. Its commissioning marking a major milestone in Uganda's efforts to boost livestock productivity and reduce dependence on imported veterinary products.
For example, it is estimated that the country loses more than Uganda shillings 4 trillion because of just ticks and tick-borne diseases alone. That is minus all the other diseases, animal diseases.
This plant we have handed over to the entire Africa represents more than just production. It represents hope. It represents opportunity for Uganda and Africa and beyond.
It is a milestone that have been acknowledged by National Drug Authority.
Your Excellency, I've been privileged to visit various vaccine plants in other countries. This is much, much better than many of them who have been supplying.
I am glad to see at the meeting of 22nd December 2022, where we met the scientists in State House about this vaccine when I brought them to Your Excellency, and we interrogated them with all the need-to-know questions, has finally led us to this point.
The National Drug Authority has inspected narrow and tick research and development wing, as well as the commercial wing of the manufacturing facility, in line with international recognized good manufacturing practices.
Which is why science and research need special attention, a reason why the president is pledging more funding support.
We promise and commit to establish a narrow vaccines and pharmaceutical city. It is a city with different factories, different production lines. And Your Excellency, we present to you a request of 600 billion over a period of 3 years to be able to actualize that dream.
Uganda is really unstoppable. That money we are talking about, 600 billion, is not a lot of money. We shall get it and give it, make it available.
To the extent that he advocates for a special treatment for scientists, including wage tax exemption.
In the new government, I want to propose some ideas which they will discuss. For the soldiers and the policemen, we give them tax-free pay. They don't pay tax.
You Ugandans, if you really want your economy, your agriculture to stabilize, your economy to stabilize, these scientists, what if we treated them as soldiers and we said, okay.
Other leaders in attendance agreed with the president.
For us to motivate our scientists, for us to motivate our doctors, for us to motivate our engineers, we need to learn to appreciate. And I think the president has proposed the best for this country.
With this vaccine in place, there will be no ordeal to narrate in Uganda over tick infestation.
For us to make our own, produce our own medicine, for Uganda, for Africa, and the whole world is a big achievement. And I just want to say thank you, God, for this step that Uganda has taken.
We have been using more chemicals when spraying the cattle, but this vaccine is going to protect perfectly.
So now that we've got this, and it is our own in this country, Uganda, the cost of production is going to be too low for the Ugandans, and it's going to be as much affordable as possible. And when we face any challenge, we shall be able to come back to our narrow because it is ours as Ugandans.
We should now promote us going into animals that are of a higher value, since now we have the tick vaccine. Because those days we used to fear even to bring high value animals, especially good animals for milk, which can give you 40, 50 to 60 liters of milk.
The president emphasized the importance of science-led transformation, noting that Uganda's economy is moving from traditional subsistence to modern research-driven production.
I have been working to stabilize our science community. That's why, although I had opposition from other people, I insisted on increasing the pay of the scientists.
The launch of the anti-tick vaccine is expected to boost livestock production, create jobs, and expand Uganda's export potential in the agricultural sector. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you so much, Henry Okurut, for the updates. Still with the president, he has clarified that the Sovereignty Protection Bill, as tabled before Parliament, is not what he initiated. In a two-page letter, President Museveni wonders why there's a lot of debate on the initiated bill, questioning whether some of the contents in the bill tabled to Parliament are a representation of what was initiated in Cabinet. President Museveni dismissed public talk that if passed into law, the Sovereignty Act would stop foreign direct investments, support for religious bodies from abroad, remittances from Ugandans working abroad, among others. Emphasizing that the bill before Parliament is not what he initiated, President Museveni revealed that the bill he initiated was about what they fought for and what the whole of Africa fought for ever since 1900, when the whole of Africa, except for Ethiopia, had been shamefully colonized after 400 years of slave trade because of our egocentric kings that were spending more energy causing wars among us than uniting us to defend ourselves. We'll have more details on this particular story later in our subsequent bulletin. Now, moving on, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honourable Robina Nabbanja, has passed out 1,500 students who have been undergoing patriotism training at St. Juliana's School in Gayaza, Wakiso District. The students are Senior 1 and Senior 5 students who have undergone training of loving their country. Take a look.
This afternoon, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabbanja, was ushered in at St. Juliana High School, located in Gayaza in Wakiso District. The Prime Minister began by inspecting a parade of 1,500 students who have been undergoing a one-week rigorous training in patriotism. These are only Senior 1 and Senior 5 students in a school of about 7,000 students. Nakalema Eve, a senior 5 student who was the parade commander, displayed skills in commanding a parade. The students later displayed the skills obtained during the training from Patriotism Secretariat of State House, led by Helen Seku.
As I was sharing with these young people, we talked about patriotism, patriotism being love. And I told them that there is no one in the world who would want a neighbor to accuse their mother of being bad.
Addressing the students and parents who attended the event, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabbanja, thanked the Patriotism Secretariat for the wonderful work in imparting knowledge and skills of loving their country.
The decision to hold this training at St. Juliana Madam is both deliberate and strategic. You know, strategic thinkers think things through, that you have been equipped with knowledge and skills which will enable you to see things differently as a student. Without a vision, people perish. This ideological training must be guided or guarded and taught and spread everywhere.
And the local leaders reported to the Prime Minister of the challenges they are facing in the area.
Ekkubo lino okuva emanyango wali kilomita 4. Maama n'asanyuka mu kusaba kwange ng'akakubo kaffe kano kakutawaanyizza nnyo. Maama bakayita amanyangwa n'amayina jjolwe.
She says these are 4 kilometers and she wants this road tarmacked according to him. This I'm going to handle with the Minister of Works and we'll see whether we can do some work.
Nabbanja clarified on the delay by government to pay the business community who lost their property when their buildings flooded.
Amataba gaba kuba nengendo basaasira muzeyi nangamba agenda kubasumbuusa. Kati balaba biruddeyo balowooza nti ngenda wali mu nsawo yange nenzijjayo. Ziruddeyo. Amazima ziruddeyo. Naye ng'omusango gwabasinga. Why? Abasuubuzi ba leaders baabwe bafere. Bwe twabagamba muleete lisiti y'abantu baleeta 2,500. Ate bwe baasindikayo abasirikale bano aba ISO ne baleeta abantu 700. Kati ekitegeeza baali bakola bya bubbi. Elisiti neekerewa okugiverifyinga. Be bayeekereyo abo baleke kwekwasa Nabbanja.
In more stories, NRM senior leaders, together with the permanent secretary, in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Ramadan Ngobi, have praised President Museveni's leadership and Uganda's economic transformation ahead of his swearing-in ceremony scheduled for the 12th of May at Okello ceremonial grounds. The site, peace and security, wealth creation, industrialization and infrastructure development as key milestones to be consolidated over the next 5 years. Take a look.
Secretary General Richard Todong says the government has already established strong pillars to ensure effective implementation of the party manifesto, emphasizing continuity and stability in service delivery.
We have been standard in our operations in governance. Of course, we are going to enhance better governance in terms of accountability, in terms of closing on wastages in the government. We expect that we are going to implement more of the policies and programs we promised in the manifesto. We are going to speak more on how to support women and youth and the urban poor, like I said, and to support local government.
National Treasurer Ambassador Teso notes that the next 5 years will focus on expanding job opportunities for the youth while strengthening all socio-economic sectors to enhance inclusive growth.
We want the next 5 years to be focused on wealth creation, enabling Ugandans to create wealth. But you cannot create wealth without the enablers. The enablers are the education, health, the good roads, security. So we are even expecting money from our oil. As we sell this oil, we shall ensure that the proceeds are used to improve the socio-economic infrastructure. And once that is done, we shall have put in place the prerequisites, the enablers, things that will enable those who are doing business.
NRM Communications Director Emmanuel Dombo reaffirmed the party's commitment to keeping the public informed on government programs and achievements.
This has been a foundation for pushing Ugandans to the middle income status, where every Ugandan is expected to have income in their pockets because of what they do. Government has therefore embarked on ensuring that every Ugandan has got a good or a service that they sell in order to sustain their lives. This is through wealth creation.
Meanwhile, the permanent secretary to the Treasury, Ramadhan Gobi, says Uganda is steadily tapping into opportunities created under government's economic strategy aimed at expanding the economy and improving household incomes.
The results we see today is sustained growth, low inflation, stability of the shilling, increased foreign direct investment, increased manufacturing, jobs being created in industrial parks. You have so many younger people getting into enterprise, doing what they want to do. Of course, with some remaining unemployed, because we are having an economy which is still relatively smaller.
Leaders remain optimistic that the next phase of governance will sustain progress and deliver tangible benefits to citizens across the country.
President Yoweri Museveni has issued guidance on the need to protect the sovereignty of the country. The president released a statement through social media in policy decision-making on political, social, economical and diplomatic issues. Museveni described the recent opposition to the bill as noise, and he contacted the policymakers not to meddle in what they called areas of the freedom of private entities, enterprise transfers, private money transfers or church donations. The Attorney General, Chiwanuka, and the Minister of State for Internal Affairs, David Muhoozi, made a last-minute appearance before the Committee of Parliament, which is to scrutinize the bill to make amendments to the bill in respect to the President's guidance.
The letter, dated 30th April 2026, contains President Yoweri Museveni's guidance on the protection of the Sovereignty Bill 2026. Museveni starts by describing the recent overwhelming opposition to the bill as noise. He goes ahead to inform the nation that he initiated the intended legislation. However, the president distances himself from the proposal to stop foreign direct investment, FDI, support for religious bodies from abroad, and remittances from Ugandans working abroad. President Museveni states that the intentions of the bill are aligned with safeguarding Uganda's policy decision-making on political, social, economic and diplomatic issues. To further harmonize, the president contacted the policymakers, including the government's chief whip, Hamson Obua, and the chairpersons of the relevant parliamentary committees to make the bill concentrate on the sovereignty of policy decision-making and not to meander in the areas of the freedom of private enterprise, transfers, private money transfers, or church donations. On Thursday morning, lots of quick moves were witnessed in Parliament surrounding the protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026. The Attorney General Chiwanuka and the Minister of State for Internal Affairs, David Muhoozi, appeared before the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Defence, Internal Affairs, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs to make formal amendments to the bill as guided by the President.
The two-page statement, then you have a matrix.
The committee, which had closed consultations with the stakeholders, opened doors to welcome the amendments from the movers of the bill.
Act applies to any person who acts as an agent of a foreigner. So we are rewarding it to mean it's the same thing. It says this act applies to an agent of a foreigner. So to remove any to take away any doubt that any person may mean another third party, we are saying it relates to an agent of a foreigner.
After various calls from a wider public to bin the bill, the movers have opted to make amendments, especially by altering the tone of the language that speaks to the proposal.
For the inclusion, we are deleting a Ugandan citizen residing outside Uganda, and we're also deleting the discretion of the minister to designate someone as a foreigner. The important thing here is that for a person to be called a foreigner for purposes of this act, that person must do the things that are prohibited in clause 2.2. So if, for example, a person is a foreigner here but has not done any such thing, he is not a foreigner for purposes of this act.
Among the 9 activities criminalized are engaging in political activities in Uganda to further the interests of a foreigner.
Any activities aimed at influencing the enactment of law, formulation of policy or decision-making of government, or of the people of Uganda, and includes fundraising, sponsoring, fostering, nominating, supporting, or campaigning for a candidate in an election, registering, funding, and campaigning for a political party in an election, fundraising, campaigning, canvassing for support or opposing a political party or candidate in an election.
The modified proposals provide for exceptions of foreign funding received by supervised institutions like banks, a health facility, an academic research institution, a person for commercial, domestic, or family use, among others.
So this law is not saying that the money you're using here is illegitimate money, it's laundered money. No, it is legitimate money, but we are just saying, just declare it.
But that one who is going to send money to destabilize Uganda for subversive activities, now will know that things are now tough. So the foreigner will know, but also the Ugandans should know that if you receive money to do wrong activities against the interests of Uganda, in the interest of a foreigner, you are going to be subject to this law.
An agent of a foreigner shall be required to be approved by the relevant authorities in case of a proposal to influence any government policy. The Department of Peace and Security will have 14 days to conduct inquiries into the suitability of the application for registration, and the minister has been given 14 days to issue or respond to refusals.
So here we are again giving the minister a timeline within which to make a decision in respect to the certificate of registration.
The controversial bit requiring declaration of sources of funds to the minister has been maintained, but by a foreign agent.
And we think registration is important for purposes of accountability and transparency, so that if you offend the law, we can catch you. But also, you can declare at registration or at any other time, if I can be precise.
This clause had also been questioned as an interference with the role of the central bank through the Financial Intelligence Authority.
And all the money that come here, we have illicit money, that is FIA, Financial Intelligence Authority. It can track illicit money. This law deals with both illicit money but also legal money. Money comes here legally. For example, you receive it legally as Honorable Baka. It has come from a source probably from the UK. It comes in legally and then you start using it for other purposes.
Here, we are saying that even if you have legitimate good money, it should not be used for these purposes. For example, I get my salary. I'm a foreigner, I get my salary, I have all my pay slips, you can show me where the money came from. The whole money trail is okay. So when it goes to money laundering, they will say, cleared, because you have explained where all your money came from. But I'm using it to disrupt, for disruptive activities here. That's where this act will come in. I would not be comfortable.
The new twist in the bill, accompanied by the guidance of the president, leaves no doubt that the legislation is unfailingly needed. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Daniel Mugo and Gloria Gutabinji. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news for you.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, kabalansi? Eh? Ah, nikuwaile nkumitano. Ompaile nkumibiri. Mama, nkuwaile nkumitano.
Ompaile nkumibiri.
Abantu abakuluma atandisa obuyaye mwena.
Obuyaye obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko bantu
sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
It's back, bigger and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Kyomugisha. Now, the demand for services from vulnerable communities in the Teso sub-region is overwhelming the Ministry of Teso Affairs despite continuous budget cuts each financial year. Minister of State Dr. Kenneth Ongalo says that the current allocation of 3.2 billion Ugandan shillings, down from the initial 5 billion at the ministry's inception, is insufficient to meet growing community expectations for effective service delivery. Take a look as Okello reports.
Established 15 years ago to rebuild the post-war region, Teso Affairs Ministry struggles to meet overwhelming community needs amid persistent budget cuts restricting service delivery capacity.
At one point we were up to 5 billion. Now this financial year I think it was at 3.2 billion. And yet the expectations from the people of Teso, and sincerely what we have been able to do with that budget tells a different story.
Affirmative Ministry overseers warned that ongoing budget cuts threaten government's ability to fulfill the objectives behind their establishment.
If you have a very short person standing next to a tall person, and you, a photographer, you're going to take a photo, you should ask yourself why you raised this person. Now, if you bring stools for both of us, have you achieved that objective?
The budget cuts have been linked to the reallocation of funds towards other socio-economic government initiatives aimed at alleviating poverty across the country.
I have had discussions with people who think that now that we have PDM, now that we have Myoga and all those other special funds, but which are countrywide, that affirmative action ministries are not really that necessary anymore. And often it is the reason why we are having difficulty getting the budget that we request for.
With limited funds in recent years, the ministry uplifted vulnerable communities through healthcare, education, infrastructure, and micro-projects.
For example, you've seen what we've done in schools. You've seen what we've done in terms of helping districts with challenges, special challenges that they have had. You realize that these micro-projects have been helping the vulnerables. They have been helping a category of people who may not necessarily be able to benefit from PDM.
This was noted at the district's performance review meeting held by Teso Affairs with accounting officers and local leaders.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs has launched an inter-ministerial technical committee on migration to guide the development of a central portal for information and service related to migration. This is part of the operationalization of the National Migration Policy for Uganda 2025, which seeks to integrate the registration and management of both citizens and foreign nationals in the country. The Secretariat will be housed at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and you can enjoy the story as Ivan Carter expounds.
Before the policy was launched by Cabinet, migration was just an immigration matter of the Department of Internal Affairs. But this committee brings out the fact that migration matters are whole government matters. The registration of all foreigners in the country, the management of all the movements of people is a whole government matter. It's not a one sector matter. And that's the importance of this committee to show it contains all agents of government who are involved in the management of immigration matters.
You need any information on anything to do with the statistics of refugees, statistics of how many people entered, how many people are working out. Instead of going to Ministry of Gender, you now come to Internal Affairs or click on the portal and you'll be able to access all this information. I think this is critical and it's important and it's going to ease services for the people of Uganda.
Now, the refugees were formerly registered and managed under the Prime Minister's office. They remain managed under the Prime Minister's office, but what changes now is the registration of all human beings in the country, nationals and refugees, is by one body, the National Registration Authority, which is also a member of this committee. So you have one registration point for all human beings in the country being registered, and that makes management easier.
Government has spent money, Cabinet went through this, approved it, but we are not going to regret the expenses so far made because it is going to be a very big advantage for the populace.
And in more stories, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has forwarded some foreign nationals arrested for operating illegally in Uganda to court. Internal Affairs spokesperson Simon Peter Mondei says that authorities have also mapped out those areas in Bara where foreign nationals are allegedly operating illegally. Ivan Kawa reports that the ministry is facing a shortage of detention facilities, prompting intelligence-led and targeted operations against illegal migrants.
Recently, the Ministry of Internal Affairs apprehended over 200 foreign nationals who are allegedly operating illegally in Uganda. Some of them have been arraigned before the courts of law to answer different charges. However, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has also informed us that operations are still ongoing, and they have identified Mbarara district as one of the other areas where foreign nationals are operating illegally.
Because as we go to court, they read for you the offense, and then you pay the fine, and then immediately leave the country. They are going to do deportations and organize removals. Then, after that, we shall again embark on another site.
Now, the ministry spokesperson, Simon Peter Mondei, has told us that they are still grappling with the issue of space where they can accommodate these foreign nationals before being taken to the courts of law. When you talk of space, what exactly do you mean?
Holding space. When we talk of space, when we arrest these people, we are not going to host them in our offices. They are not going to sleep in our offices. They are supposed to sleep in a detention facility. And as immigration world over, we are supposed to have detention facilities with different from our local prisons. Because, you know, these people, we give them special meals. These are people who say you don't serve them posho and beans daily. So these are people who have special meals. Somebody will tell you, I don't eat posho. Somebody will tell you, I have a certain condition, doesn't allow me to taste beans. So we have got to have the facilities to ensure that these people are, first of all, hosted well. And secondly, they are not hardcore criminals. So we have got to treat them well as we process their deportation.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
Does science build the economy? At National Science Week 2026, see innovations that transform industries, create jobs, and drive Uganda towards a $500 billion economy. Smart investors, discover what works and where to invest. The event runs from 30th April to 3rd of May 2026 at Kololo Independence Grounds. Free entrance to all. The theme, STI Works, powering Uganda to a $500 billion economy. Don't just watch the future, invest in it. Brought to you by the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, STI, making Uganda the best.
In 1986, a new chapter began. A fundamental change was etched into the heart of our nation. Uganda has since then witnessed a socio-economic transformation under the leadership of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Through peace and security of persons and property, economic growth, infrastructure expansion, health improvements, education, regional integration, industrialization, digital transformation, youth and women empowerment, wealth creation, among others. A nation once in recovery is now a beacon of regional stability. The people have spoken, and the NRM government has been given another term in office. The Board of Directors, Management and Staff of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation proudly congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa upon his resounding victory in the recent elections. Witness history as it happens as we broadcast the swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday, the 12th of May 2026, live at the Kololo Independence Grounds, here on UBC TV, our radio stations, and all our digital platforms. Ugandans, let's protect our gains. Long live NRM, long live Uganda. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The event brought together women from different sectors to connect, learn and gain practical financial skills aimed at strengthening their economic resilience. Representatives from the United Nations emphasized the importance of financial inclusion in driving sustainable development, noting that empowering women financially directly impacts families and communities.
You could have income, but how are you stretching that income into becoming wealth for you? That's actually the essence of why we brought you here today. So that you build beyond comfortable. You build beyond I am okay. You build then to influence.
80% of all the work, I think even more, 85% I believe, of all the work on the land is done by the women. But they are having the hardest of times getting loans from banks. And very often, first of all, it's hardest for women, for agricultural loans to be given, but for women agriculturalists it's even harder. And I heard somebody say really proudly, well, our bank gives 50-50 to men and women. I think that's great. But if 85+% of farmers are actually women, then those numbers are still not too impressive. So it's these kinds of things, that's what it's about. And then in the household, when the man moves in and takes a cut of that loan that the woman has to pay back and he spends on his own affairs, it's those kinds of things that make it impossible for women basically to move ahead.
Advancing women's financial rights does not always require grand platforms or complex strategies. It begins with a simple but powerful commitment to knowing the importance of speaking up for justice, for the truth, standing up for what is right. We contribute meaningfully to a culture where respect, dignity, inclusive growth, and development are non-negotiable. Thank you.
Speaking at the fair, the Managing Director of Centenary Bank reaffirmed the bank's commitment to supporting women through tailored financial products, mentorship, and access to credit, key tools needed to grow businesses and improve livelihoods.
Our bank pledges to remain at the forefront of designing financial solutions that recognize the unique life cycles and professional paths of women. We commit to expanding our reach through our digital platforms and vast branch network to ensure that no woman is left behind in the shift from earning to investing and to financial empowerment.
We want you to use that information you're going to get today to reach out to the larger community. We want to spark a movement in this country that women can be in spaces where they have opportunity to negotiate their way out of violence.
The She Counts initiative continues to position itself as a catalyst for closing the gender gap in financial access and advancing women's economic empowerment in Uganda. Sandra Kahunde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
That was a story about women in Uganda who have taken a bold step towards financial independence as United Nations Development Program in partnership with Centenary Bank hosted She Counts Women Finance Fair 2026. Thank you so much, Sandra Kahunde. Now, resilient and exceptional players in Uganda's tourism sector are set to be recognized this year during the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, following a partnership between the European Union and the Uganda Tourism Board. In another development, Absa Bank Uganda has unveiled a 3-month island escape campaign aimed at promoting digital payments. Take a look.
The Uganda Tourism Board, in partnership with the European Union delegation, has introduced the Pearl of Africa Tourism Awards 2026. The awards will be officially launched during the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, further strengthening Uganda's reputation as the Pearl of Africa.
As we approach with excitement the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo on the 21st to 23rd of May, we launch a new edition of the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Awards, the Puate Awards 2026. It is an initiative that reflects the shared commitments of Uganda and the European Union to celebrate excellence, innovation and sustainability in tourism.
According to the Uganda Tourism Board, despite the steady growth of the tourism sector, there has been limited formal recognition of individuals, businesses and organizations that consistently deliver exceptional experiences.
You are recognizing players out there. It means that you are valuing sustainability. So it's quite important that it sets us as a standard, because to be honest, sustainability is not something that you can achieve in a day, in a week, or in a month.
Award categories for Puate 2026 include Best Tourism Documentary, Best Community Program, Best Tourism Photography, Best Tourism Storyteller, among others. In another development, as the use of cards for transactions continues to rise across the country, the public has been urged to remain vigilant against fraudsters who disguise themselves as helpers, advisors, or even friends. What may seem like support could actually be a trap, says Moses Rutahigwa, the Director of Retail and Business Banking at Absa Bank Uganda.
I believe customer education remains very, very important. The customer awareness to ensure that as you use your card, you are aware of what tips to look out for, to ensure that you're using in a secure site, you ensure that the passwords are never shared with anybody, and the sites you're using are trusted. If you're using a POS machine, ensure that you're not leave your card compromised with anybody on your own becomes important.
The caution was issued as Absa Bank Uganda launched its Island Escape campaign, which promotes the use of the bank's debit and credit cards and will run for 3 months. According to the bank, the campaign reflects its continued focus on driving digital payments while delivering value beyond traditional banking services.
We believe that the future is digital, and definitely anyone who wants to pay should be able to use any of these platforms to make banking easier. Last year, towards the end of last year, we added a more enhancement to our card offering by launching a contactless or a virtual card which is purely digital.
Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Thank you so much, Dennis Sigowa. A new partnership between MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited and Starbucks International Limited is set to transform how Boda riders earn and transact as the two companies roll out fuel incentive campaign targeting everyday digital payments. Take a look.
Launched in Nansana, the initiative is designed to encourage riders to adopt MomoPay as a primary mode of receiving fares to reduce reliance on cash, while boosting convenience and safety.
But we also recognize that businesses are also our customers. And there's a big business sector called Boda in Uganda that cannot be ignored. So for that reason, we saw it best to come up with a product that is for them. So therefore, we went ahead to create a MomoPay product that is beautifully carved out for them, that allows themselves to be able to subscribe for the service, so they're able to get a code very quickly. It's instant.
Under the campaign, riders who register as MomoPay merchants and complete at least 4 daily transactions of 20,000 Uganda shillings or more from different customers will receive a fuel reward of 500 Uganda shillings, redeemable at selected Starbucks stations.
We are here to launch a promotion which we are partnering with MTN. This promotion, you can buy fuel through Momo, cashless, in our Starbucks stations. MTN is bringing a service which is free of charge. Every time a Boda comes to buy fuel, they are not charged those normal charges.
Officials say the move is part of the broader Power of Momo campaign that is aimed at making small everyday payments such as Boda fares completely cashless, with zero transaction fees for amounts below 5,000 Uganda shillings. Speaking at the launch, MTN Momo executives emphasized that Boda riders are central to Uganda's digital economy, given their daily interaction with millions of customers. Industry leaders have welcomed the initiative, noting that beyond easing fuel costs, it positions riders as key drivers of financial inclusion. The campaign is expected to accelerate digital payment adoption across Uganda's transport sector. The initiative that is already underway is dubbed Win Kafuta and comes at a time of spiraling fuel prices and will climax during the last week of July.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential. With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
Alright, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development invites you to the national celebration of the International Labour Day 2026. This Friday, 1st May 2026, Uganda joins the rest of the world to honour the dedication and contribution of workers to the nation's development. The celebrations will take place at Nkoyoyo Boarding Primary School grounds, Matale, Buyikwe District, and will be presided over by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, under the theme Safeguarding Uganda's Progress, Empowering the Workforce and Promoting Decent Work for Competitive Enterprises. Join government, workers, employers, and partners as we celebrate the dignity of labor and renew our commitment to improving the welfare, productivity, and rights of all workers in Uganda. International Labour Day 2026, celebrating the dignity of labor and the workers building Uganda.
Welcome to the sports news, where Uganda U17 team CABS continues preparations for the Under-17 African Cup of Nations. The team engaged in a practice game with Edgar's FC, winning by 3-1. The practice game at Fufa Stadium, Kadiba, was to fine-tune the team before naming the final squad that will travel for the AFCON tournament later next month. Emon Gabo has a detailed report.
As the players, it is a privilege to represent the country, and we are doing what we can so that we can reach our goals. As me, the captain, I have my own personal goals and the whole team. The goal of the team, it is reaching the World Cup. Then after reaching the World Cup, we shall look forward to the treble. Then as me, the captain, it is widening my CV so that I can get a European team that can see me, because the tournament is near Europe.
We are, as a technical team, of course there is more room for improvement, but from where we are, we have so much confidence in the team. Whatever we ask them to do, they're doing it now. Before, like 4 weeks ago, we need to repeat ourselves, but now it looks like there is less talk, and then the boys are taking care of it. Most of the technical team were quiet on the bench, and they're finding solutions, they're solving the problems. And for me, I think we are in the right direction. Yes, we all know that every competition, your first game is very important. So first, the main focus is with DR Congo, which we've done research with the help of our new video analyst. Gotten a lot of information, player profile about all the 3 teams. So we have fair idea about which team we're going to meet, what kind of players we're going to meet, and the mentality of the coach as well. So I think it's a very good work in the right direction, and it's giving us a lot of information about all the opponents we're going to meet. But at the moment, it's up to us to find a game plan that we can execute it. We have 1 more week in the pre-tournament. We're going to assess our opponent and then try whatever we're going to do in the tournament. That's what we're going to implement. At that moment, we want to, let's say, let the boys look sharp in a pre-match tournament, and then during the competition, they can look fresh. All the 3 teams are very important, but at the moment, our focus is with DR Congo.
That's all we had for you in this hour. Thank you so much for watching. Do join me later on at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha, and stay watching UBC.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, balance. Eh? Ah, nkuwaire 15. Ompaire 20. Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 20.
Abantu abakulu atandise obuyayo mwena.
Obuyayo obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko ba
sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy 0 charges below 5K. That's the power of